Victor Wembanyama has been on an unbelievable run, doing things at such a young age that the NBA has rarely seen before. His rise became so remarkable that even the GOAT felt compelled to step in and share his thoughts.
No one can stop him, and I'll tell you why.
But here is what nobody is telling you. It is not only MJ. Wait until you hear how many NBA players secretly picked him over LeBron. Trust me, this is some of the juiciest news to come out of the league in a long time. There is one incredible thing about Victor Wembanyama that we do not talk about nearly enough. Before Michael Jordan ever publicly said a word about him, there was a terrifying moment in 2025 that nearly changed everything for him. MJ watched it happen from a distance, and it made him think, yeah, he is the one. Once you hear what that moment was, you will understand exactly why. It was March 2025, and the San Antonio Spurs were quietly building one of the most fascinating seasons in recent NBA history, with Wemby at the center of it all. He was already putting up incredible numbers, and then, out of nowhere, the news broke that Victor Wembanyama had been diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. If you do not know what that means, let me explain why the entire Spurs organization was shaken by the diagnosis. DVT is a blood clot condition, and it becomes especially concerning when you realize that Yao Ming suffered from similar health problems that eventually ended his career. Bill Walton also dealt with serious physical issues that severely affected his career. So when Wemby received the diagnosis at only 21 years old, the conversation quickly stopped being about basketball and became about whether he would ever return as the same player. But this is where things became even more remarkable. The Spurs did not simply rely on normal recovery methods. They reportedly explored advanced human performance protocols and put Wemby through highly specific exercises designed to support circulation and maintain his athletic ability. Through all of it, Wemby stayed quiet. No complaints, no dramatic social media posts, and no attention-seeking moments. He simply worked. When he returned, he looked even more explosive than expected, and he played with a level of intensity that made it clear he was not finished. According to reports, Michael Jordan was following his recovery from a distance and told people close to him that Wemby reminded him of himself. Notice that he was not talking about talent or statistics. He was talking about resilience. This kid faced one of the most frightening setbacks imaginable and responded by coming back stronger. And if you think that was simply MJ being generous, wait until you hear what he reportedly noticed about Wemby's mentality. If you think Jordan was impressed only by a 7'4" player who could shoot, you are missing the bigger picture. Jordan never cared only about athletic gifts. He cared about dedication when nobody was watching. What Mike saw in Wemby during his comeback was not simply a player returning from a blood clot. He saw a young star developing a ruthless edge. The humble French kid people saw at the draft was starting to disappear. MJ understood what it felt like to have the world doubt you. When Jordan returned in 1995 after baseball, people questioned whether he had lost a step and whether the game had passed him by. Years later, Wemby faced similar criticism. Charles Barkley, who has questioned Wemby from the beginning, repeatedly raised concerns about his frame and durability. Chuck even pointed to the 2025 health scare as evidence that Wemby might be too fragile to become the face of the league. But here is the twist. Jordan reportedly pushed back against that criticism because he saw something different. He did not see a player defined by his medical setback. He saw a competitor who had developed an edge. For MJ, his rivals were the bad boy Pistons and players who tried to intimidate him. For Victor, it was every analyst who labeled him fragile or unfinished. Jordan reportedly told people close to him that Wemby was now playing to dominate, not to make friends. And if you watch the way he plays, that mentality is difficult to miss. While much of the league was resting during the 2025 offseason, Wemby reportedly entered what some described as his warrior phase. He stepped away from the spotlight and focused heavily on training. In June 2025, reports claimed that he traveled to the Shaolin Temple in China, where photos showed him training and meditating with monks. The goal was not simply publicity. His training focused on balance, movement, coordination, and controlling his body at an unusual size. At 7'4", gravity itself is one of his biggest challenges, so he worked on generating power from his core and improving how quickly he could move and recover. But the training did not stop there. After returning to France, he reportedly combined intense physical workouts with mental exercises, including playing blitz chess while exhausted. The idea was to force his brain to process the game while his body was under extreme fatigue. He was not only training his muscles, he was training his mind to stay sharp when everyone else was running out of energy. That obsession mirrors the mentality Jordan became famous for. Remember how MJ trained early in the morning to make sure he was physically and mentally ahead of everyone else? Victor appeared to be taking that same obsession and applying it to a new generation. And the results became impossible to ignore. Throughout the 2025-26 season, Wemby started delivering clutch shots and game winners without showing much emotion. No excessive celebrations, no screaming at the crowd. He would simply turn around and walk away with a cold expression that made even veteran players take notice. It was that same level of composure people associated with MJ. Doc Rivers even acknowledged that coaches were becoming increasingly concerned because Victor had developed a Kobe and Michael Jordan-style competitive edge.
Him than the longer guys. He's just so talented. And he's another guy that has the Kobe Michael mean streak.
Right.
And I love that about him as well.
So when I call this dude a beast, I am not talking about potential or future star hype. I am talking about a resume that already puts him in a category that even some NBA legends never reached. Want to know why the entire league is getting nervous? Because as of April this year, Victor Wembanyama officially joined Michael Jordan as the only two players to record 3,000 points, 500 assists, and 100 blocks within their first 135 games. Even LeBron did not accomplish that. And if you think that is just a fluke, look at his trophy case. This year, Wemby did not simply win Defensive Player of the Year. He became the youngest player ever to win it and the first unanimous winner. Not one voter could watch the season and argue that someone else was on his level. But the real numbers behind his game are what truly make people lose their minds. On February 23, 2024, while most rookies were still learning the league, Wemby became the youngest player in history to record a 5x5 against the Lakers, finishing with at least 5 points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. That is the ultimate all-around stat line. But that was only the beginning. He also finished his rookie season as the only player ever to record 1,500 points, 250 blocks, and 100 three-pointers in a single season. It is like taking prime Hakeem Olajuwon, giving him Kevin Durant's jumper, and telling him he is not allowed to lose. His player efficiency rating is also sitting at 23.1, which ranks among the best starts in NBA history since Wilt Chamberlain. And things get even crazier when you look at what happens around the rim. When Wemby is on the floor, opponents attack the basket far less often because they know exactly what is waiting for them. In 2026, shooting percentages around the rim have also dropped significantly with him protecting the paint. He does not always need to jump. Sometimes his presence alone is enough to make professional scorers change their minds. That is the same kind of psychological pressure associated with MJ and Kobe. You are not simply facing a defender. You are facing the fear of getting your shot rejected in front of millions of people. And do not even get me started on his offense. Normally, with a player this tall, teams would try to foul him and force him to earn points at the free throw line. But Wemby is shooting around 82% from the stripe and 35% from three. Leave him open, and he can punish you from deep. Close out too aggressively, and he can attack the basket and finish above the defense. There is almost no comfortable way to guard him. The wildest part is that the legends are not even hiding their amazement anymore. Former stars and current superstars are saying the same thing. When the Greek freak looks genuinely stunned by what he is seeing, you know the league has a serious problem. Giannis has even said that he has never seen anything like Victor Wembanyama.
I don't know, but I've never seen anything like him, 7'4", 7'5", I don't know how tall he is.
Coming from someone who is practically a 7-foot powerhouse himself, that says a lot. It is like the current superstars are watching Wemby and realizing they may have just found their biggest challenge. But the reaction is not limited to players still on the court. Even the older legends are amazed by what they are seeing. Shaq, the same Shaq who often tells modern big men that they are too soft, admitted that Wemby is on a completely different level.
I saw one game, he threw between legs, threw behind his back, stepped back and shot the three, and it looked good, and it went in. He's a whole different breed.
For Shaq to praise a young big man without adding a back in my day comment is a big deal. That alone shows how unusual Wemby's talent really is. Then there is Kendrick Perkins. Big Perk did what he usually does and immediately started putting Wemby into the Mount Rushmore conversation. He came out with a statement that made it clear he already sees Wemby among the all-time greats.
25 years from now, the GOAT conversation is going to go starting with these three names: LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Victor Wembanyama.
Now, we all know Perk is one of LeBron's biggest supporters, but even he cannot ignore what Wemby has already accomplished. He is being discussed alongside players with 4 or even 6 championships, and he is barely old enough to legally drink in the United States. The legends are impressed, the analysts are struggling to understand him, and the coaches are desperately searching for ways to slow him down. That is where the so-called Wemby rules come in. Back in the 1990s, stopping Michael Jordan often meant using physical defense and making every trip to the basket painful. The famous Jordan rules became a symbol of the extreme measures teams used against MJ. But in 2026, coaches are not trying to overpower Wemby. They are trying to figure out how to defend someone who can see over almost every defensive scheme. Think about the difference. MJ was 6'6", attacking through a league filled with giants using speed, skill, and pure determination. Wemby is 7'4" with an enormous wingspan, playing in an era built around pace and space while also being one of the most skilled players on the floor. Traditional double teams can actually make things worse because he can simply see over the defense and fire a cross-court pass that looks like a quarterback throwing a touchdown. Some defenders have even tried using their strength to push him away from the basket, but Wemby often waits for the attack and then blocks the shot without needing to leave the ground. Imagine putting all your strength into a move, only for a player to casually reach up and take the ball away. But his most ridiculous weapon might be his jumper. His release point is nearly 11 feet high, which makes contesting his shot extremely difficult. Even elite interior defenders with incredible length cannot easily reach that level. Anthony Davis, despite his size and mobility, has a much lower standing reach. It almost feels like Kareem's skyhook has been moved beyond the three-point line. The Wemby rules are not about overpowering him. They are about surviving against him. Coaches are even pulling centers away from the paint to create distractions, but that can simply give Wemby a clear path to attack the rim. And the strangest part is that all of this is connected to a much bigger debate. While fans argue about Wemby against the rest of the league, some are using his rise as another weapon in the never-ending LeBron debate. If you are a LeBron fan, this part may be difficult to hear. Victor Wembanyama is building his career in San Antonio without demanding a super team around him. Think about LeBron in 2010, when he joined forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to create a championship-level core. Now compare that with Wemby in 2026, carrying a young Spurs team filled with players who were barely teenagers when he entered the NBA. He is not searching for a big three. He is becoming the centerpiece of everything. By April 2026, Wemby was already being compared favorably with LeBron's early career impact across several advanced metrics. He helped lead the Spurs to an impressive 5-0 start while coming back from a major health scare. Then there is the defensive hardware. LeBron spent years establishing himself as an elite two-way player, but he never won Defensive Player of the Year. Wemby not only won it, but became the first unanimous winner. It took LeBron years to reach his defensive peak, while Victor appeared to reach that level incredibly early in his career. And then came another major difference. In 2026, Wemby reportedly entered the slam dunk contest, something LeBron never did during his career. Michael Jordan used the contest to build his legendary image and show the world what he could do. LeBron stayed away from that stage, while Wemby was willing to put himself in the spotlight despite having plenty to lose. The Wemby effect is even changing how teams think about the future. Look at the 2026 draft, where teams were reportedly searching for size and length as if every 7-footer could somehow help deal with him. Jordan was even credited with saying that the league is not ready for a player with his mentality inside Wemby's body. And honestly, that is what makes Victor so unusual. He has the competitive obsession of an old-school superstar combined with a physical profile that feels almost impossible. So to the Kendrick Perkins supporters and the LeBron loyalists who have spent years defending their king, the shift may be difficult to accept. But when Michael Jordan looks at a 22-year-old and says, "Yeah, that is the one," people are going to pay attention. You can keep arguing about longevity and career totals, but Wemby is building something completely different. So what happens next? What happens when an elite rim protector can also handle the ball, run the floor, shoot from deep, and create for himself? We are entering an era unlike anything basketball has seen before. That look in Wemby's eyes is not disappearing. He is not here to make friends, follow someone else's path, or simply become another star. If you are still betting against him after everything he has shown, you are betting against one of the greatest competitors in NBA history and an athlete whose physical development seems almost impossible. LeBron had an incredible run, but the league may be entering a new chapter. And according to Michael Jordan, the most frightening part of Wemby's story may still be ahead. Just wait until you see what he brings into the 2027 season, because if his recent villain era was only the beginning, the next chapter could be something entirely different.